Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dreamleapers Inspiration. I'm your host, Harriet Cole, and as always, it is my delight and honor to be with you today. Today, we're in the fall. I think it's literally fall. It certainly is weather-wise here in New York City. We're in that time of transition that requires us to think a little bit differently. When you're in the crisp weather, you kind of perk up a little bit more. And for me, it's a time of reflection and a time of adjustment, asking those questions about what am I supposed to be doing now? I just saw a commercial. I should say I heard a commercial because it was just on in the background talking about next. What the question is everybody has on their minds is, what am I going to do next? What should I do next? What's happening next? Do you have that question? And is it a question that you might think about a little bit more at the time of the seasons changing? I don't think I'm alone in having a refresh at this time of year, although I make it my business to work on that refresh on a regular basis, because I know if we pay close attention to what we're doing and make small course corrections along the way, it becomes easier to navigate life with, as I say, with ease, without feeling that there's so many giant twists and turns, because small course corrections feel small, little adjustments here and there. You stop paying attention, you put on blinders, don't notice what is required for your world, and then you require a big pivot, or at least often. So think about that. How are you considering what's next? Have you made that list that tells you these are the things that I need to be focused on? These are the things that I'm promising myself I'm going to do. Do you have that list? How often do you pay attention to it? I spoke to a young woman yesterday who, like so many of us, is working from home. And the challenges of working from home and attempting to keep a rhythm and a focus for your life and your world and your work is different for different people. When you feel like you've mastered it well, you may not realize that there's someone who's on your team, someone you know, who may be struggling. And I think it's when I listened to her, it helped me to understand even better what many of us are going through. In her case, what she described is that she suffers from ADHD. Very smart young woman, and in her early 20s, so at the beginning of her career. And what she described is that before COVID, the structure of getting up, going to the office, having a designated workspace, having all of the many tasks that she had to complete in the day, leaving, ending her day and going home, all of that structure helped her to manage better. And given her ailment, ADHD, she was able to keep a different kind of control and manage her being and her duties better because of that structure. And so we talked about creating a structure at home, replicating a structure that might help her to manage better, even if she's not literally leaving a place going somewhere else. And of course, part of what I recommended is making a list, a structured list that includes personal responsibilities, deadlines, goals, and work responsibilities, deadlines, goals, etc. That I recommended that she would make that list the night before. When she gets up and gets ready to work, she starts checking off that list. I believe in this. I know that it is extremely helpful for people to stay focused, to get things done, to not get lost in the clouds, to be productive when you make a list and follow it. So I was thinking about all these things at this time of what's next. We're asking that question. What's next? What should I be doing now? Sorting it out, figuring it out, which I like to do to include the practice of meditation because it helps to still your mind and get you quiet enough so that you can hear that voice inside that's just waiting to tell you, this is what's next. Listen, it's right here. It's right inside, waiting for you to just pay attention. And when you do, and you listen and you let go of all of the sounds and thoughts and agitations that cloud your vision and that make you unable to hear that voice. When you practice meditation and you get still, you can listen for the voice. What's next? The voice will tell you. Write it down. Then figure out a plan so that you can put whatever the voice has told you into action. And that leads us to today's inspiration, which is inspired by my friend Sekou Wrights. He took on this notion of doing. I believe that it began during COVID. It may have even been a little bit before that. I'm not sure. I'll have to ask him about that. But he took on the action of doing. Don't just talk about it. If you need to make a change, if you need to take an action in your life, do it. And if you are constantly doing it, you're in that process. You're in the process of doing, of putting forth the effort, of reconnecting to your focus again and again and again. Doing that connotes consistency, not just I will do this now and check it off, but the sense of doing is an ongoing action. I ask you, what are you doing for yourself? It's a great question when you truly think of it just with you and yourself. What are you doing for yourself? What is a disciplined effort that you are doing for you? Do you have an answer to that? Think about it. If you had to say one thing, what would you say that you're doing? I'll give you a couple of mine so you can see what I'm thinking about. And I start with my physical self. I am getting up pretty much every day between 6 and 7 a.m. Now, before I had a child, I loved to sleep in. And all that changed. She's almost 17, so I've had a bunch of years of having a shift. I have always been willing to get up at whatever hour is needed for a project, for work, for a responsibility. I used to use an alarm clock because I was nervous that I would miss a deadline and oversleep. And then my husband never uses an alarm. And I thought, how can he do that? He gets up between 5 and 6, usually every day. Very quietly, so rarely does he wake me up. During COVID, honestly, I think it's during this period, these so many months now, I just started waking up. And waking up and not even having to go anywhere except into the other room to set up for the ongoing video calls, just like this one. Well, this is a broadcast, but you know what I mean. And I just started waking up. I had become accustomed to getting up between 6 and 7. And then my body remembered it. And so it has become something that I am doing. And even if I don't have a responsibility per se, I'm still getting up, starting my day, having my quiet time, my meditative time. and then engaging with others. So that's one thing that I have been doing, and it has become a great practice. And honestly, if you had asked me this a number of years ago, I am not the person who would say I get up early. Now I do. I always have been a list maker and follower because always. I learned this in my meditation study that waking up with a plan and enacting that plan is efficient for your time, for your focus, for your energy, for your productivity. And efficiency is very important to me, and I bet it is to you too. So I make a plan just about every day. And I say that because I want to tell you the truth. There are days when I don't do it. And honestly, when I don't do it, I go, how did I forget that? If I don't write it down, I usually don't remember. And it's not intentional, but there are a lot of things on my list. And I have caught myself, I was reviewing my plan for today last night, and I realized that there were two things that I have had in my mind that I'm supposed to do. I didn't write it down. I didn't tell my assistant. And guess what? It didn't happen yet. One of them is very time sensitive, so I will do it when I finish our broadcast today. Another, not so much, but I don't like to have lingering things on my list. Do you? I don't like that. So making my list and following my list on a daily basis as a discipline, as a practice, is part of what I am doing to support my life. I am walking because that is the form of exercise that I enjoy the most. And I just interviewed Judith Jamison, the artistic director emerita of the Alvin Ailey Dance Company. And she's such a delight. And we were talking about what we can do during this elongated period of quarantine or close to it still. Because many of us are out and about a little bit, but most people who can are now working from home for the foreseeable future. And when you're at home and you're sitting in front of one of these devices for hours and hours on end, bad things happen to your body. You need to move and get some flow and get the blood flowing and take in oxygen with filling your lungs with oxygen. And if you're just sitting all day, you're not doing it well enough. And I was asking her what she would recommend to others to be our best during our time of being at home all the time. And she said, she was funny. She's like, I don't have to tell you, you've been sitting here long enough. You better figure it out for yourself. But then she added, walk. It's so easy. Walk. It doesn't cost anything. Get up, go out, put on your mask, and walk. And that's what I've been doing. I live near Central Park, so I've been walking in the park with my girlfriend. It helps. She walking with me helps me to be accountable for doing it. As the seasons are changing and the air is crisp, it's so beautiful. Everybody can do that. Now, did you notice that the three things that I just told you that are part of doing for me aren't specifically work related yet? The list, but the list actually includes personal and work goals. Take care of you first, you personally, and then move on to whatever work responsibilities you may have, whatever community responsibilities you may have. Do you first. And as Sekou says, and I like this notion of doing, because when you think of it, it is an ongoing motion. It is not stop and start. It's ongoing. You continue in doing what needs to be done in order to follow the steps that will get you to your destination. Just thinking about it, this is Dreamleapers. I'm not saying just dream about it. Nope. Dreamleapers is about accessing and activating your dreams and doing the work to activate them. Yes? It is not just having your head in the clouds. Absolutely not. It is about taking the action, the doing of going inside, the discipline of listening to the voice inside of your own being, and the commitment to extract what the voice says and to put it into action. The doing of it is why we are engaged. I don't want you to walk away from this broadcast and, go back and get under the covers and say, okay, I'm good. That felt good. I want you to be inspired to take action for your life. What can you do for your life to be better now? What can you do in an ongoing way so that your life can be sweeter now? It's not hard to do. It does require discipline and commitment. And people think about discipline as a bad word. Many parents and aunties who are trying to get children in line would talk about the importance of strict discipline. Honestly, I think strict discipline can be good because it helps you to see if you consistently do what you're supposed to do, and you are reminded this is what you're supposed to be doing. This is what will help get you to your goal. It helps you to develop that muscle to keep doing it. I don't mean punishment, discipline. Do this first. Do that next. Consistency. Take care of the things that are on your list. Check them off. Be proud of yourself for doing what you said you were going to do and keep it moving. I want you to write to me on the new Dreamleapers Inspiration group that I created on Facebook. Just type in Dreamleapers Inspiration and it'll show you some of these broadcasts. But if you look, it'll take you to a new group that I formed. Go there, write down today what you are doing today for yourself. If you answer that question, what are you doing for you right now? What one thing are you doing? You can write more than one if you want, but I want you to think about what that thing is that you are doing that is going to help further your dreams. When we share it, just like I was describing with my friend who I walk with, when we share with each other what we are doing, we can motivate each other, we can inspire each other to be on track. Oh, you're doing what you said you're going to do? Me too. I didn't do it yet. I'm going to do it now. So go to Dreamleapers Inspiration, the group, join the group, please, and then share. What are you doing? And what do you intend to do today for yourself, for your dream? Because you're worth it. We're all worth it. Are you ready to do that? Good. So go to Dreamleapers Inspiration. Tell me and each other what you're doing. And then let's get to doing it. All right, you guys. Always great to be with you. Until next time, have a great day and make it count. Namaste.